Racing turns to Newcastle this Wednesday, and we've got two pretty good races, with the Newmarket being a group race, some horses potentially heading towards maybe a Doncaster, and we've seen some form out of this race in previous years go on to that event. We've also got the Newcastle Provincial Championship qualifier, but they're the two main races that we're going to focus on this afternoon. As always, you can get John Walters set, Mark Lambourne set for the card, and hopefully we can find a winner. We'll start with the Newmarket, and the favourite here is Ecuador at around $4.40. You've got Sadler's Lake at sort of $6, Bull Point $5.50, and also Artistry at $6. And then Nancy, I missed her right down the bottom at $4.80. What do you think here?
Well, just prior to going into the race, how do you think the track's going to play? Because we've always run this race on the actual Newcastle course proper, and this year we're running it on the Beaumont.
Yeah, I think the Beaumont track's been playing quite well, to be honest. I've been happy to bet on it in recent weeks. Look, I think a lot of it is tempo related. We've seen horses sort of swing out wide. There's no disadvantage up the inside. Hopefully it can be a fair surface today, but I'd be treating the card pretty even. What about yourself?
I just sometimes in the true position it can play a little bit on pace, so that's just one thing that I want to have. I want to have a good little look at early before I step into these later races.
Well, one horse I think would be suited by that would be Sadler's Lake. Why is it such big odds?
Well, its trial was quite disappointing, actually.
Yeah, I'm forgiving its two trials purely for the fact that it didn't have blinkers on in its trial. Now it comes to the races with the blinkers on. Was entered to run last Saturday.
Is it blinkers first time though?
Blinkers first time.
Yeah.
Ajax Stakes last week, 1,500. It was accepted to run on its home track. Chris Waller decides to scratch, which to me suggests that he's assessed this race as potentially a better target for the horse, and it does look better considering it's only 1,350 first up rather than the 1,500. I think he's pretty well weighted here with 55.5 kilos from that inside gate, and he's going to be in the race for a long way.
He's a horse that can race well fresh. I'm just a little bit worried about those trials, and it's usually I can forgive a horse for not having blinkers in the trial, but he's always raced so well without it.
Yep.
I don't know if he's just got a little bit older, a little bit more relaxed in his trials and his racing, and maybe he needs them to sharpen up now.
Yep.
He was certainly the horse I looked at first. He's always been a horse of mine, but I've just got that slight query as to how he has trials.
What do you make of the favourite here, Ecuador?
How do you think it's going to be today? Do you think it's going to lead, or do you think it's going to take the sit behind Bull Point?
Well, I'd imagine Bull Point's probably quicker than it in the early stages if they do look to drive it out from that wide gate, but it's going to be there somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's going to be there. I prefer him when he leads. I think he's a better leader, and just with Bull Point in front of him, I'm actually leaning more towards Bull Point. I think Bull Point's about $5.50, $6, and I think Ecuador's in about $4.80. I think.
Yep. And
I thought his win first up was good. He looked like he had something left in the tank when he's won, and I thought his trial between races is good.
Ecuador suggests to me he's probably looking for a mile plus. I just don't know if he's going to have the same zip in his legs at the 1,350.
Yeah, and he almost looks like he wants 1,800, I think, now.
Yeah. What do you think of Nancy? She looks a bit short, a bit skinny for $4.80 considering the weight scale here.
Look, I think she's obviously a talented filly, now mare.
Yep.
But if you look at this weight scale, she should be getting, and I'm not a big weights person, but when you find a horse like her in a race like this, where she probably should be getting like 11 kilos off horses that are out, and she's only getting a kilo off, it's hard to get into those horses when they say $4.50.
Her big advantage though is her acceleration. She's going to be on the back of the horses, on the back of probably the main bunch from barrier 3, not too far off them, and she can accelerate.
Yep.
It's just whether they're going to go probably quick enough for her to steam over the top of them. Artistry, she was quite good, I thought, last time out. Does she have the class? I personally question whether she does. I don't think she's
another one that doesn't seem overly well weighted against these.
I think she's short of her best price.
I
think she's pretty well found in the market. What about some of the roughies here? Even A. Omen could.
Yeah, it goes extremely well fresh. Trial's good. No, he could definitely be a knockout. And he's probably going to be around $30.
Righto, what's your tip?
I'm leaning towards Bull Point at this point. Yep. And there's one other forgotten horse I thought was Amavarcio. Goes extremely well first and second up. I thought his run was satisfactory first up, and I could see him get the run of the race just in behind the leaders here.
I'm going for Sadler's Lake with the blinkers on first up from barrier 1. I do like horses resuming around that 1,350, 1,400 metre mark. Moving to the Provincial Championships qualifier. Short price favourite here is Heady Heights. Visually very impressive last start, settling off the speed and hitting the line, but taking on a lot stronger company now, but does have that X factor of a real nice horse that can pick up off a decent tempo.
Yeah, her win was very impressive. I thought she looked a good thing last start. She got out to an amazing price. And I think she looks real well suited here today. I think she'll be suited in the Beaumont track. She can probably settle, say, midfield, around midfield today. And Abdullah knows the horse.
I think she's a good chance, but I couldn't take $2.40.
Well, so they bet $4.40 yesterday, and she went straight off the boards. $2 set. What is she?
$2.40, $2.60.
So she's around that 6 to 4 range. I don't think she's any value there. I think that's a right price. I think if you got the $4 or you could get $4, I thought there's a great bet being that's your 6 to 4 chance. Now, look, I don't really want to bet against her, but at the same time, I don't really want to be on her.
I'm thinking Chris Leese's two here could be the big improvers, being Powerline. I thought its runs have been quite impressive without a lot of luck, and now gets Hugh Bowman on, decent gait, compressed weight scale, only 3.5 kilos from top to bottom. And the other one I can see improving big time from its first up run is Marple Miss. She's a mare that I think will be much better suited this distance range. I thought her first up run, she was just sort of run off her feet and got to the line quite good. She wasn't beaten too far, so I'd be leaning to the two Chris Waller pair trained runners, being Powerline here and Marple Miss, at the value to beat the favourite.
What did you make of Daisy Duke?
I thought at $5.50 she's poison odds. Like, I know she was back on the inside and probably the worst part of the track there at Wyong, but I was surprised at how short she was in the market on that occasion, and she sort of got beaten.
Real short again.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot more spruik than genuine form or depth of what she's got. Like, of the horses on the minimum, I'd clearly have Heady Heights beating Daisy Duke. But I think Heady Heights needs to go to another level to sort of come up to the Power Lines and the Marple Misses. So I'd be pretty keen to play the two.
I'm keen
to play the Chris Lee's runners here, and look, if Heady Heights beats me, so be it. But I think they represent okay value.
I think I'm just going to wait and see what happens with the prices, and just to see how the way the track plays. I wouldn't be surprised to see sometimes when you see these markets, like these horses heavily backed in the early markets, they can get back out. So it doesn't take a lot of money to firm these horses in the early market. So look, I'm willing to wait and see. If she gets out past 2 to 1, 350, I'd be willing to play her.
Anything else you like on the day?
Yeah, the horse Chris Waller trained, Mr. Darcy. He's only lightly raced. Showed good promise, winning on the Boo and a few of his runs. He's probably a little bit disappointing at the end of last prep, but I think he's come back in great order. He's trialled really well. He gets in well after the claim, I think, of Andrew Atkins. He's in the last race. And he looks a horse that looks to, I think, have Saturday possibly ability moving forward. Nice big strong bugger. And he's in against a bunch of horses that generally look like, say, Wednesday, Thursday horses. He's around $5.50. I think he looks a good each way bet.
Well, there's a little look at today's card at Newcastle. As always, jump on the Punter Show website to check out all the products, and plenty of tournament action right throughout the week.
Have a look at the Glence's videos. They're a lovely little story explaining how he ended up the way he is.
And today's tournament, there is running a tournament at Newcastle and across all the race meetings on a Wednesday that you can get in for free. You can test it, have a see how they get a feel for the tournaments. Get to understand how to play tournaments, and we're giving away $400 worth of Punters Show products, so you can get some selections from the guys like Steve Fletcher, Darren Potter, Johnny Walter, all those guys for later in the week, and it'll also get you an opportunity to test your ability going into Saturday's tournament, which is $75,000 in prizes. It only costs $100 to get in. And I think first prize is about 12 grand with 50 tickets given away. So
it's about 20,000 prize pool for top 3 and 50 tickets given away to the big dance.
And good incentive to get involved. So good luck today at Newcastle, and all the best for the tournaments.